Hey everybody out there in the land of YouTube, Annette Dion here. It's Monday night. We got through the weekend. How you doing? What's going on? Give me a hello and let me know what you did this weekend. Anything fun? Love Wins. I do have a song by that title. I need to get working on it. Yeah. I don't know where to start. Well, it's a lot. On Friday, I went over with you again and again. The readings just kept, the cards just keep coming up, and the information keeps coming to me of where we're at as a nation. And where we're at as a nation is we're in a place where authoritarianism is being heavily promoted. So just keep that in mind. We'll get to more in a sec. I'll be back. Hang on. Just adjusting some things. So more of that in a sec. Plans are currently on the docket to remove our democracy. You may already know this, but I just want to repeat it. Plans are on the docket to remove our democracy and to replace it with authoritarianism. So, yeah, it's real. I'm not saying it's going to succeed. What I am saying, there's a lot of things in place still. What I am saying is, there's no doubt about it. This is factual. Viktor Orban has been at Mar-a-Lago for several days now. I don't know if he went back to Hungary. He probably likes a better Mar-a-Lago. Viktor Orban is very heavily connected to Vladimir Putin. So, good to see you all. So, we got a lot to read on. The State of the Union, we were celebrating that it was wonderful, that Joe Biden hit all the good points. It was a very powerful time. We had a very auspicious super new moon yesterday. Mahashivratri in India, with millions and millions of people praying and meditating, or mostly meditating and doing yoga. Millions and millions of people. That does have an impact. Huge movements like a meditation movement has a huge impact on a collective level. So, what are we going to do about it? What are we as Americans going to do about it? I just caught earlier, Nicole Wallace had Ken Burns on, and Ken Burns, just for those of you that don't know, I can't see that this is in the view right now. This Love Multiplied that I have up here, I made a little Love Multiplied, appropriately over Sadhguru. That's directly from a Ken Burns interview from, I think it was last spring. And he said Ken Burns says he has a flag. He lives in New Hampshire too, where I went to New Hampshire today. He has a flag that says Love Multiplied. And so now I have a sign that says Love Wins. And now you can't see Larry the Leprechaun. So I have a different screen view than you do, so I'm not sure what you can see. It's up to us. It's up to us. Thank you for thanking me for my conviction. To fight for democracy. It's up to every single one of us. This is exactly where we are. I know that we see the Republican Party turning into MAGA. I know we see them floundering, feeling like they're without direction. They're like a sailboat without a rudder. It's no longer the Republican Party. They kick anybody out, or they censure them if they don't pledge loyalty to the dictator. And so there's a few things that I'm not sure that the mainstream knows. The general collective, there's a few things I don't think the general collective knows. The people that wouldn't be watching a psychic news network channel, for instance. people that are busy, the people that don't get involved in democracy, they don't know this. So I'm going to probably repeat it again and again. We're currently facing the threat of a heavily orchestrated plan to overthrow our democracy and replace it with authoritarianism. So that's one. Number two is if we don't do something, a lot of is at risk, and also number three is other countries are presently preparing for America not being a democracy, because you have to be on guard and prepared for any potential problems that could happen in any situation, right? So that's where we are. I want to let you all know that Joe Biden was in New Hampshire today, and I got it in my head and I couldn't get it out of my head. I needed to drive up to New Hampshire. So off to New Hampshire I drove. He was in a place called Goffstown, which is right outside of Manchester, New Hampshire, which is where the airport is. Interestingly enough, I didn't make it in. I don't know if it's a time change or what. I had read that he was going to speak at 3, but I must have gotten the time wrong. And let me share my experience with you. So New Hampshire has a lot of rural areas. And New Hampshire has a lot of like more sort of progressive thinking people areas. But a lot of it, like New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont, they have a lot of rural areas. And the rural areas, people tend to be less informed, more susceptible to false information, and not really engaged in our, system of government by the people. I drove by the venue. It was at the YMCA. I saw the limo and, the police detail and all that, security. But I didn't really see a lot of Biden supporters. I didn't see people out there holding signs that said Biden-Harris. I didn't see a lot of these. And I was just outside of the venue. What I did see was a troop of Trump supporters waving "Let's go Brandon" flags and Trump, make America great again, make America great again, make America great again. I did see a lot of that. And when I initially drove by, you know me, I talk to everybody. When I initially drove by, I was going down to a parking lot that was down the road a little bit, but I was right there, right in front of them. And I rolled down my car window and I said, "It's about love." To the women that I saw standing there with the Trump flags, I said, "It's about love." Non-threatening, "Hey, it's about love." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, well, we love you." And so that was a little bit of icebreaker. So later when I realized that I had missed Joe Biden speaking, which he only spoke for like 25 minutes or something, I decided to go talk to this big group of Trumpsters. Did they think I was talking about 45? They didn't know. When I rolled down my window to the Trump gathering, there were a lot of them. There were like maybe 30 of them, waving their flags, and one of them had like a megaphone, and she would not stop saying really loud, screaming, "Let's go Brandon," for like a couple of hours. She was just, "Let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon." And so when I rolled down my window and I said, "It's about love," they didn't know if I was a Trump supporter. They said, "Well, we love you." I know, it's weird. So then when I came back, I walked up the hill and I started to go up to various people in the group. And I asked them what "Let's go Brandon" meant. And some of them didn't want to tell me. They looked at me very quizzically. They didn't know where I was coming from, but they wanted to hate me. And I was persistent. And what I was persistent about was I want to have a conversation with some of these Trump supporters. I want to just have a conversation. And so I started to talk to some of them, and they were real, like, you know, real defensive, real, like, ready to fight. And I was so sort of disarmed in a certain way, energetically. And I just kept persisting, saying, I just want to know. I just want to know what Let's Go Brandon means. And they gave me some kind of rigmarole, like, you know, when they finally said it means F you Biden, but they said the word, I looked right at them and I said, what a terrible thing to say to somebody. How does it feel when somebody says F you to you? It feels terrible. And then they started to tell me that that we say that about Trump. Like, and I said, well, is there merch that says that about, like, F you Trump? I haven't seen it. So once again, I was looking for information. And there wasn't a lot of things that they could say. They just were so defensive, like I was gonna, oh, you're a Biden person. I said, no, I just want to know what you guys believe. I want to have a conversation. I want information from you. I want to know what you're thinking. And finally, I got several, mostly the men, to talk to me. The women were being real kind of icky and sort of vicious. But I definitely saw that I succeeded in getting a lot of these Trump people to drop their defensiveness. Just like, because I wasn't a threat. So I felt the defensiveness drop somewhat. And then I started to really talk to some of them. Because I want to understand what is going on in a Trumpster's mind, that they would take time out of their busy schedules. These people are committed. These people they're dedicated. Warren, I'm trying to talk. These people are dedicated. I mean, I love you. It's just I'm in the middle of saying something. They're all in. Yes, Rendezvous, I did. I got farther than I thought I could. And the reason I'm telling you this long story of today that's not finished just yet is because I don't know of any other way to turn this country back towards democracy. I cannot conceive of any other way to turn this country back towards a strong democracy than there's no other way. Please hear me. I know I'm being preachy. I'm trying to get across a point. Then if we have to start understanding that we are all here together and that we want to have a democracy and that we all want our freedom. And this is what I want everybody to know about what I heard. Now, this guy, I didn't tell him that I had a YouTube channel and all this. I just said that I pay very close attention to what's going on in the news. So, this is my buddy Keith. Keith in New Hampshire. Thank you, Zircon. I need support. This is my buddy Keith. He lives in New Hampshire. He builds restaurants, like physically carpentry, kind of, blue-collar worker. This is Keith waving to you. He wouldn't tell me his name. This is A. His name is A. Look, this guy's smiling. After I talked to them, they didn't hate me. Gloria's asking, so why does he support Trump? Here's the part I really want you to get. It was like a waterfall of misinformation. If I could look at it energetically, it was like a waterfall. It was one conspiracy theory after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. So, thank you, Warren. One after another, after another. And the common denominator was everything that Donald J. Trump does was put onto Joe Biden. Every single talking point was a regurgitated talking point from faux news. Every single one. Rhonda was saying that must have been hard. What was hard was when I first drove by, and my body was literally shaking when I first saw them, because the vitriol that was coming from that crowd was so strong and so intense. So what the propaganda channels are doing is getting these people to regurgitate these lies. Like, I'm telling you, it was like a waterfall. Yes, CM. They believe all the lies, they believe all the propaganda, they believe all the projections. And they hate Joe Biden because they're saying Joe Biden is trying to kill our democracy. And whenever they said, well, what are you're for Biden, right? I said, I have never, since I've been standing here with you all, I've never mentioned that I voted, that I'm a Biden fan. What I am a fan of, what I want democracy. They are afraid, that's true. And I'll end my little story with this. My buddy Keith here, it's not like I got his number, that's A. They were reluctant to talk to me, but once they realized I'm just a girl from Massachusetts, I just came up, hey you, I'm in Massachusetts. You've been to Gloucester, right? Once I broke the ice, it was fine. Even the women got a little bit more warm to me and said goodbye and everything. My buddy Keith said to me, there were a couple people, like just very few, that were standing there, earlier, prior to when I started talking to them, that had a Biden-Harris sign. They were like a little older, and they were like just standing there with their Biden-Harris sign, totally outnumbered by the Trumpsters. And Keith said to me, after we started talking, he said, at least you came and wanted to talk to me. At least you came and talked to me. Those people wouldn't even talk to us. And that's the motto of my story. I know I just took 20 minutes to tell it to you, but that is the theme. That's the moral of the story. That Keith said to me, at least you came up and talked to me. And that's why I have that sign that says love wins. Because by the time, thank you, Rendezvous, I appreciate that. Because by the time I left, we were shaking hands, and as I was walking away, I literally thought to myself, I could have given Keith a hug. I could have given him a hug. Because there was no, I hate you. Thank you, Gloria. There was no I hate you, and I understand how difficult this is. Don't worry, we'll get to the cards in a second. Maybe we'll go a little longer. But it is a Midas touch night. Real quick. Right after September 11th, 2001, I was hanging around with Sadhguru at that time. He had just come to Nashville. We had a small group of us. And I asked him after 9/11 what we were to do, how to respond to 9/11. What were we going to do with all this? We were all pretty freaked out, as you might remember, 9/11. And Sadhguru said, the thing we must not do is get into an us and them. Because as soon as we get into an us and them consciousness, and we're not inclusive in our thinking, then we're in trouble. Which is why I'm saying our only hope, yes, every conversation is an opportunity. Exactly, Christine. Our only hope of getting these people to see the light that democracy rocks over any authoritarianism, fascist dictatorship. You would not believe how many points of misinformation this guy spewed from his mouth. It was unbelievable. When it's us versus them, nobody wins. When it's, hey, I can relate to you. Hey, I understand your concerns. Hey, I understand that you think Trump is the only hope for our democracy, because that's what he's out there saying. Electrostorm, I believe that anything is possible. I believe that anything is possible. And I know you're pointing to, you know, like, you know, the racism and everything. But I believe that anything is possible. Yes, they're brainwashed. I've been saying that all along, Gloria. You've been with me a lot. You've heard me say that, right? Love casts out fear. We have to make them less afraid. Hey, Kalani. So let's go to the cards. I do have the tea leaves. We're going to answer a bunch of questions. You know me. If I have something in my craw, I got to talk about it. A lot of people don't know what democracy means. Please come to Grassroots of Democracy. We will continue this conversation. Grassrootsofdemocracy.com. We will continue this conversation. I know Thomas is saying we need to outvote them. Even more importantly, we have to invite them in. I do it, you do it, we get so frustrated, we get so upset, and we go into this hatred, and I've really been working on not thinking that they all need to just, you know, fall into the ocean or something. I know. It helps that I have a lot of experience with knowing how cult mind works. So, and Marjorie Trader Green, Sissy's mentioning her right now. As far as I'm concerned, she's mentally unstable. She's off her rocker. It's very sad. They are here for a reason. We all are. Yes, and it's to fight back. It's to push back strongly. And to tell you the honest truth, I didn't even know why I was going to New Hampshire. Ask Terry. I was like supposed to have a meeting with her. I'm like, oh, I got to go to New Hampshire. I didn't even see Joe Biden. So apparently I went to meet Keith. I don't even have my cards though. Hang on. Let's see. And we'll talk more about this as time goes on because I learned a ton. It was worth the trip. It was worth the hour-and-a-half drive. My car was swerving all over the road. It's really, really windy. Is Cheryl here? A group hug. 1, 2, 3. Group hug. All right. I'm where I'm meant to be. Yes, we're all where we're meant to be. So, you know, maybe you can poke around in your neighborhood and just be disarming. Because these people are scared. They were so scared that we were going to lose our democracy. Little did they know that they were the ones that were causing that to potentially happen on January 6th. They got so crazed about it. So many of them went to jail because they tried to kill people. 3 cards. Are we on the right track for that? Where do we find common ground? Where we find common ground is that we're all humans, right? They drank the tea. It's true. Thank you, Anne. And I'm telling you all this too to, you know, encourage you in the hopes that you know, we hear so many times, I can't go near them. You know, we hear that a lot, but it's like, have we really tried? I mean, have we really given it the old college try? 3 cards about where we're at. Like, you can't say that it doesn't work until you attempt it, right? Anything. This card fell to the floor for some reason. What I'm asking about is the potential for these people that are brainwashed to turn around. Well, the 6 of Swords, and by the way, I heard that, you know, I heard the feedback that I got from Keith was that January 6th was fake. I mean, this is like full-blown MAGA. Thank you, Sharon. But I do feel like there's some truth coming out about January 6th that will make a difference. I also know that over the weekend, the Losers was up there at a rally It's Friday or Saturday night in Georgia, and I have never seen the loser so incoherent. I don't know if any of you caught any of that. I don't know if anybody saw it as how incoherent the loser was. I don't know if you saw it. But as far as the people that are Trumpsters waking up, it does look like there will be a lot more information about January 6th. And speaking of Ken Burns, the reason he was on Nicole Wallace is because he's doing a movie, some kind of a documentary on the threat of autocracy. But I think he said it wasn't coming out till 2025, which is too late. Oh, Kathy, you're so sweet. Thank you. I haven't washed my hair, but I'll do that later. The Knight of Pentacles. What this is indicative of is things like the infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, people, and I saw this a while back, people in America starting to see the country and the economy. I mean, it's really, it's divine intervention. Sissy's asking if I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trader Greene, helped with the January 6th. Yeah, do you guys listen to me? These are things I've said repeatedly. Yes. I understand. You know, you have better things to do than to be here 3 nights a week. And you know what I'm saying? Anyway, as far as will enough MAGAs turn around? That's basically my question. With more and more information about January 6th becoming very much revealed, and with the infrastructure, the wages increasing, the job numbers, this is like at the end of our conversation today, me and this MAGA person. I had to go. It was freezing. We've been standing out there for a long time, and we're like yelling across the street. It's like, what has he done? And I said, the infrastructure bill and job numbers. And so that's what I'm seeing here. The proof is in the pudding, so to speak. I'll get to that, Kathy. Do I see Beto O'Rourke running for public office? Not this year. I don't see it this year, but I do see that in the future. Bit by bit, the message is going to come through. Our economy is good under Joe Biden. Thomas, I can't read that one out loud. I do see things picking up. And Condamon, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, understand that it's a cult. Yes, it's pathetic to be under mind control of a cult. I do feel enough people that are in between, what do they call them, independents? I love this line, like, the undecided. It's like, how can you not be decided? It's so, I don't know, it's just me. It does look like we will make headway. It does look like we will make headway. Cult of hate. Hate is fear. And hurt people, and people that were hated hate people. I mean, I just saw something very disturbing somewhere in Kansas at I guess it was a rally or something. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't even want to share it with you. But for the sake of knowing what's going on, they had a dummy of Biden, and people were, I guess it's like a karate prop or something, so they had a demo of Biden somewhere in Kansas. Did you guys see this? And dressed, with a Biden shirt, looking like Biden, and people were being able to go up to it and kick it and punch it and hit it with a baseball bat, like, boom. We got to change that. And as I was driving into where Biden was today in New Hampshire, I saw F.U. Biden flags flying and Trump lawn signs. What website did I purchase? I didn't, the Biden-Harris sweatshirt was a Biden-Harris website. Christine lives in Kansas. That's where it was, right? An effigy of Joe. This being isolated as a nation is not working for us. Farm dad joke. Why did the pig... what? Why did the pig dump her boyfriend? Because he was a real bore. That's kind of funny. I don't watch the Oscars. I think it's really, really, really super boring to watch the Oscars. I'm not a big fan of watching people, you know, really all up in their egos. But anyway, I do like Jimmy Kimmel. He annoys me when he talks about Biden's age. They all annoy me when they talk about Biden's age. But, you know, the loser sitting on the couch being irked by Jimmy Kimmel. Amazing. I'm going to read, I might need my nefarious cards, but actually let's do this. Let's do this. The nefarious cards get a little too gory. Jimmy Kimmel's always slamming Trump, and you can do that in a democracy because it's freedom of speech. And back in the old days, people in positions of leadership were able to take a joke. I missed a really good... A good what? Indigenous display of their songs. Oh. Are you talking about the January 6th? Are you talking about the Oscars? We're going to look at, I'm specifically, I'm going to look at his mental function. Yeah, Joe Biden can take a joke. And remember when Obama was like joking about at the correspondence dinner back in when was that? 2012 maybe? The White House Correspondents' Dinner when Obama, I guess it was earlier than that, was joking about the Donald because the Donald, like, kept bugging him for his birth certificate. That's what started the whole thing, because Trump needed revenge. He can't take a joke. And somebody said, you know, you've heard some of the MAGAs saying, oh, Trump is just joking. It's like, he doesn't joke. I can't remember him ever cracking a joke. Thomas has it exponentially with his dad jokes over the loser. Anyway, 3 cards about how his cognitive function is doing, because it was really failing. I mean, if you go to Midas Touch, Ben Meiselas posted a vid shortly after that rally ended, and Trump was off the rails. He was making no sense. Well, Obama was making a joke. Remember, he was making a joke. He was like, you know, and showing video of like the Lion King when Simba was being held up when he was first born, and oh, I'm in Africa. What was that song? It was funny. He sat there and fumed. How is his mental state? 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Oh man, I feel like he's got all these shysters around him, the loser. What he's doing right now is getting people on board with rallying to round up money. And I'm going to have to take out the nefarious cards. We are going to take a look at the source of the 90 mil, which we did look at a little bit on Friday. The Knight of Swords, this is justice coming for him. But I'm going to tell you right now, the loser has people, I see people on the phone. It looks like a phone, what do they call it? The telethon in the old days when they were on the phones with the cords. I feel like he's got people on the phone attempting to get money. Let me ask the pendulum, because I feel like it's, you know, people with big money. But maybe it's his followers. Maybe it's his fans. Am I picking up like a telethon because of the fans? Yeah, actually. Yeah. Yeah. And Catherine's saying the money will go nowhere near it. Yes, right now. The reason I'm getting that sort of telethon, they used to have those in the old days, like the Jerry Lewis telethon and the PBS telethon. Call now and you'll get your free CD or whatever. But right now it's about, he's single-mindedly focused on money. That's it. I'm asking about his cognitive function. I just get single-mindedly focused on money right now. Because when you think about it, the cases coming up have to do with money that he would owe, right? He would have to pay. And E. Jean Carroll, that money came in, the bond, and hang on. I can't resist. Money is blood to Trump. Yes, right. And he has that too. Money and adoration and attention are what keep him alive. Those are the things that keep him alive. While I'm thinking of it, please go to Substack and subscribe to Grassroots of Democracy group. I need subscribers on Substack. It's the same content as the newsletters that you get. I hope you're all signed up for Grassroots of Democracy. It's the same newsletter, but it's now on Substack. We're expanding our horizons. I'm going to ask the question again about the loser's cognitive function. And I'm going to specifically think about how he's going to maintain his energy to get... I'm telling you, I don't see him in November. We'll see. 3 cards about his... Because... And I want to remind everybody that when I did the Spirit Talk podcast with Kathy Beale, I think it was last time, and I was telling her I see his brain not quite, there anymore. The month of March, go watch that Spirit Talk podcast again. The month of March in terms of his mental function, it's like things are really misfiring. So we're just kind of reading about that. Substack, Grassroots of Democracy group. Just subscribe to it so I get more people, and share too. I summoned you. There she is now. Yes, I'm singing your praises about how we were both saying that we feel like he's just going to lose it. So you can offer up anything you want, Kathy. The Knight of Swords. I'm getting the Knight of Swords, and that has to do with the loss. So that's the second time the Knight of Swords came up. Same cards. 5 of Cups. Spilled. Okay. The 5 of Cups indicates things just being too obvious. Things being too obvious about his mental function to hide or to ignore in public. Yeah, that's what Kathy and I are thinking. We think that... And I've been seeing that. I've been having that vision for a while that in public he just falls apart. I wondered if it was this past weekend. I sent her the clip from Midas Touch. It's easy to find. I'll look it up for you guys. 6 of Pentacles. I'm remembering what I was saying on Friday, that the MAGAs are, the ones that are in office are scrambling to whitewash as much as they possibly can January 6th. And my whole story that I started with meeting these MAGAs, when I mentioned January 6th, they said it didn't happen. They said it didn't happen. So that's what I'm seeing here. Anyway, but we're asking about his mental function. And the 5 of Cups is really not being able to hold it together. It becomes visible. It's going to become visible. So when I say visible rather than just audible, that points to, yeah, I'm wondering if it's a stroke. It's something's misfiring there. And the 6 of Pentacles, This just reminds me of the, as long as they continue to whitewash January 6th. There's a little piece about the investigations of January 6th. Well, I guess maybe it's a big piece about what his mental state was. There's this amendment, and it's called Article Amendment 25. Is that right? Is that right? I might. By the way, if you want a pocket constitution, I am mailing them out. I mailed John's out yesterday. Send me an email. The 25th Amendment. If a president is not able to function, let's just ask the pendulum. Will that be the situation? Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate it. I've been not great at promoting. Will he be showing signs that he cannot hold it together? Yes. You can't hide that stuff, right? You cannot hide that stuff. If you're getting up there and you're making a speech, everybody, all eyes are on you, right? I mean, the only thing he could do is like keep his rally speeches to only his base, but he would need more than his base to even be a viable candidate. And there's Kathy Beale's website, Empowerment Unlimited. I need to go check your recent videos. I'm going to pull, it's been all over the news that Katie Brit, and that was my last newsletter, that's on Substack. It's been all over the news. Like she did this creepy, like a horror movie kind of presentation after the State of the Union. Really, we just signed up for Grassroots of Democracy. Yay! Everybody here, sign up for Grassroots of Democracy. If you can't make the meetings, you still get the notes. Katie Britt, she told a fake story that didn't happen on Joe Biden's watch. But he's still not going to be president again, so won't have any worry about the 25th. When he was in the White House, the staffers kept throwing that around. Oh, maybe we should invoke the 25th, right? So he was cuckoo then. He's cuckoo. He's cuckoo. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is cuckoo, and I think we saw that. I like the way Ben described, I'll get to Katie in a second. I like the way Ben Meiselas described, because it is what it was, how Joe Biden responded when he saw Marjorie Taylor Greene dressed like that. It was as if you're seeing a little kid on Halloween who shows up in their costume, and you go, whoa, like that. That's exactly what it was. I'm going to pull 3 cards about Katie Britt. That was a reprehensible performance. I don't think she'll ever live it down. I know we did read on it a little bit on Friday. You thought Katie Britt was on something? She was like a breathless Halloween character. It was very scary. It was like, I hear Twilight Zone music when I think about that video of her rebuttal speech, if you can call it that. And the thing that's so amazing is how off the rails these MAGAs are. We just want normal. Marjorie Taylor Greene does stuff like that for attention, but understand. Marjorie Taylor Greene doing that for attention. You have to have a certain kind of a glitch in your brain to be, like, not embarrassed by that. Yeah, and she was asked to leave and she wouldn't leave. And you know what? We're going to have to start enforcing these laws and these rules. But first I'm going to read about the fallout from Katie Britt. Oh, and Nancy Mace, I am telling you, that was a Twilight Zone episode too. I don't know how they have no shame. I don't know how they don't get embarrassed by their behavior. God's honest truth. If I was able to suck up, if I had that ability, I would be wealthy. I would be, I would. But you know what? By the same token, and I know you guys are like this too. If I was able to just like sell my soul for something I didn't believe in, I would be very wealthy. I am happier that I have my dignity. Right? I'm going to read on Nancy Mace next time. I was astounded. Yeah. I was astounded. I'd rather just be, very resourceful, have enough to get by and to live and to be comfortable and not sell my soul. Complete lack of shame. It's amazing, Pia, right? But we're going to pull 3 cards about Katie Brit, the fallout for her and for the Republican Party. And we are going to wind down at 8 because Midas touches tonight, and I don't want to make my videos too long because people won't watch them if they're too long. It's the only reason. And when people watch them to the end, it helps my algorithms and all that stuff. I should be more into that stuff too. But I did have to tell you about today. I mean, I drove all the way up to New Hampshire, so you had to indulge me telling you what I learned. So as far as Katie Brit, Ivan the Terrible, this is not good for her. She's actually kind of depressed that everyone's making fun of her. Katie Brit, she's kind of depressed that everyone's making fun of her. That can't be an easy position to be in. I get that she was pretty clueless that would be the reaction because these people, they're in a bubble. And they think that everybody thinks like them. Well, we're not all fundy, evangelical, right-wing, extreme Christian nationalists. We're not all that. Did I know the top horoscopes for billionaires are Libras? How come I'm not a billionaire? Is that a dad joke? Because maybe you can't make up your mind. Do I want to be a billionaire? Do I not want to be a billionaire? Because that's kind of what Libras do. We all have our challenges, every sign. As far as Katie Brit, yeah, the fallout is way more than she thought it would be. Because she lives in a bubble. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson was really good. She did great. It was a really funny SNL. I hope everyone can take a joke. The moon, oh yeah. Oh, she's being... I'm reading about Katie Brit and what the fallout is for her. Well, the 3 of Swords means she's very depressed at how many people are making fun of her. And then I have the Queen of Swords, which is Lizzie Borden. Lizzie Borden had an axe. Yeah, this is why these cards are tough. But what that means is Katie has, it just feels like a malicious streak. Yeah, it feels like she has a malicious streak. Yeah, she made her choice, but she has a malicious streak, and she's working on convincing herself that she did the right thing. And I can see her with all her fundy mamas around her, the other mothers. And it's just, I'm not, this is not a put down. I'm just observing what's going on. Yeah, she lied. She lied about, like, who does that? Is that a Christian thing to do? And the moon. This is a highly emotional time. I really think she's gonna get what's coming to her in terms of verbal, not attacks, but, like opinions about her. And I wrote one too. It's on Substack. You gotta check it out. Yeah, she's very mean. She's very mean. She calls herself a Christian, and she told an out-and-out lie about Joe Biden. Well, first of all, you can't blame one president for a problem that's been around for decades. Let's ask this: is she going to run for re-election and win? I have no idea when she's up for re-election. Is she gonna? No, I don't get that she will. I don't get that she will. She will not win another election. I do not get that. And now let's read on Nancy Mace. When I think of Nancy Mace, the thing that I think about is when she was looking like she was going to lose her election, which was 2020, I believe. It was looking like she was going to lose the election. Nancy Mace, I don't know if you guys remember this. And so she drove herself down to Trump Tower. I don't know how she got there. Maybe she got a ride, took an Uber. Got in front of Trump Tower. And Nancy Mace, I think it was in 2020, did a selfie video gushing over Donald Trump like he was, I don't know, the Messiah or something. They do think he's the Messiah. I was like, girlfriend, get a life. We're reading about her next. So if you saw the clip of the Stephanopoulos interview, she kept insisting that even though the interviewer was asking her a question, apparently Nancy Mace, she's letting everybody know, the whole world know, that she's a victim of rape, and that's a horrible, horrible thing. She's making sure she brings it up all the time in regards to what's going on with women's rights and all that. And so it's a fair question. How can you endorse a convicted sexual assaulter / rapist, even though in New York City they call it assault? But she supports a race, and all she kept saying was, you're making me feel ashamed. You're shaming me. She must have said it 10, 11, 12 times. When they run out of things that are rational to say, they just keep saying one thing over and over and over because they're looking for the gif or something. 3 cards about what's her fate. I'm telling you, people, I know it's infuriating. I know it's very infuriating. But we have to understand there's a whole segment of the population that's been brainwashed, continues to be brainwashed, and they're being led by these evil people. I was reflecting over the weekend on how many times when I read cards on Friday here on PNN, the devil card kept coming up over and over and over again. Hey, Tyler. Maybe we can, maybe Tyler, maybe we can have a meeting about how to talk to people that are Trumpsters. The thing is, what I knew was as long as I took the position, I want to hear your side. That's what happened. I didn't really fight back. And when they said, oh, you're for Biden, I said, I'm for democracy. Right? If it was a Republican that was really a great person and all for democracy and let's be democracy, if it was an old-fashioned Republican and they were really all for democracy and if the Democratic candidate was all autocratic, authoritarian, I would flip, I would switch, right? So, Nancy Mace is performing for the emperor. She's performing for the emperor because she wants the emperor to pick her as her VP. As his VP. Imagine if Trump is elected and he pardons all January 6ers. We try not to imagine that, James. We're doing our best to put our focus on everything working for the good. So yeah, this is the lover card. She's working, she's in bed with the emperor, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, remember when Republicans were all about smaller government and lower taxes? Yeah, back in the old days, yeah. So we know that we don't have a Republican Party anymore. Oh, well, I'm not saying that she's going to get VP, but what I'm saying is, Four of Pentacles, she's holding back. She's hiding. And the Four of Pentacles is indicative of hiding the money. So she's well, they're all being paid, right? She's being paid for this. She's being paid for, taking this stance. So I don't have any idea how Joe Biden's talk went in New Hampshire because I didn't make it. Apparently, that wasn't the most important thing for me to be doing. So I'm sure we'll see clips later. His talk was only like 20-25 minutes, and then he was off to Manchester, a little ways down the road. Manchester, New Hampshire. So Chuck's putting some good quotes up. I'm remembering that I've got to read tea leaves. Anyway, it was a very interesting day. It really was. You've been ignored, Yogi Bear. It's really hard for me to read what everybody puts up there. I do my best. Especially when I'm telling you a big long story. But that was an important story. I want to start a movement where we actually go talk to these people. I really do. Yeah, it was worth it. It was definitely worth the trip. I made a friend. I actually made a friend. We didn't exchange numbers or anything, but there was a level of respect there that he didn't expect, I'm sure. You send me white light to USA for big awakening. Yes, thank you, Maria. Where are you? She's sending light to the USA. And thank you. If you're from another country and you're here and you're praying for America, thank you. It goes a long way. We are praying really hard too. Praying and intending. So, this is the question that I'm going to kind of wrap up with, and then I'll read some tea leaves and then we can go watch Midas Touch. I'm going to wrap up with, are we going to go back to normalcy? Where normal people kind of rule the roost. Joanna Carson is saying, I'm not going to talk to them, I might get shot. It's guns galore in New Hampshire. If you're not threatening, they're not going to give you, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm psychic. I can tell that when people are safe to approach. Case in point. Let me just, try this. That Mark Robinson who won the primary in Virginia to be the governor, if you so much as look at a picture of him, you know who I'm talking about, right? Mark Robinson. You can see that he would probably have no problem taking somebody out. And I'm saying that because he said it. I'm saying it because he said it. This is Mark Robinson. I'm not just like throwing some conspiracy out there. He said it. But even if he hadn't said it, looking at him just on the videos and, you can kind of tell, right? So let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Let's say that there are some that you can approach. There are some that you can approach. And I think we really get into trouble and, we lose opportunities if we, and I know that I'm preaching, but I just have to get it off of my mind. Just indulge me. We get into trouble when we go into absolutes, right? I think you agree with me. When we go into absolutes, they're all that way. We're all guilty of that, right? I'll cop to it. When we say they're all like that. If somebody you loved got swept up in a cult, you wouldn't hate them. Right? You wouldn't hate them as a person. What do you call two apples next to each other? A pear. All right, you get a bell. Sounds good. By the way, you can donate. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I do need to build my channel. It's a little embarrassing that it's really just... I cover up the numbers now because they're distracting. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about stereotyping as much as, and that's a good point, CM, as much as it's just not a fact that they're all, you know, all hope is lost for every single one of them, right? Maybe they're not all up in their own heads, right? Angela? When we say all, we leave out the potential, the possibility that there's some wiggle room. That's kind of how I felt when I left New Hampshire today. After my hangout with the MAGAs. When I left, I literally thought of it this way. It's like I got to see there was some wiggle room. Yeah, we shouldn't stereotype. Okay, yeah, thanks for clearing that up. That's what I felt. And it's March. Yes, and a few can be reasonably reasonable. So let's just keep an open mind. What we focus on expands. Let's focus on some of them can see the truth and see the light. And it's going to drive you crazy, but we're going to do this together and we're going to be okay. It's going to drive you crazy. Like this one. My buddy Keith. I'm going to call him my buddy Keith now. The MAGA guy. I said, men can't get pregnant. And he tried to tell me that men can get pregnant. What are you saying? Robinson is tearing things apart. Catherine, the reason I brought up Mark Robinson was because I was making an example of how you can kind of just see it when somebody's dangerous. I think you can sense it. He's a very dangerous man. And he has murder in his energy. I'm not saying that he murdered anybody. I am pointing to the quality of his energy is like the energy of a murderer. And as I'm saying that, I want you to know that he said it. Not in the words murderer. But he said that he should take AR-15s and shoot the britches of the Democrats or something like that. But you have to understand, Cheryl Freeman, you can't tell me that men get pregnant. You can't tell me that and make that a viable argument. Because what my point was that, you know, men can assault women and knock them up, and then there's nothing the women can do about it. Right? Anyway, what the heck am I reading on? Oh, I was reading on If We Can Turn This Around, right? Was that it? The Surrender card, the Four of Wands, the Lovers. Yeah, we got to pull them in. We can turn this around. Yes, we can turn this around. We have to surrender to that we're not going to get all of them. But we can get enough. Love wins. Yeah, I'm going to do the tea leaves. I'm running over. I really was like very chatty tonight. The Four of Wands. The Four of Wands to me represents a house with four corners, four walls. It can be done. We have to kind of suck it up. We kind of have to suck it up in a way. So, Catherine, I'm not saying that there are certain people that were born male that aren't, through some, science, able to bear children. I'm talking about... Never mind. Never mind. Just never mind. I've never met a man who was pregnant. Forget it. Don't make me go down that rabbit hole, okay? I love you all. Please book a reading. PsychicAnnetteDion.com. My whole income is dependent on readings, and I have a couple classes coming up. Please join us at Grassroots of Democracy. Go to grassrootsofdemocracy.com. We do a weekly guided meditation for a healed America every Tuesday. Sign up under 20 on Tuesdays, and we also spend the second half of that meeting going over the spiritual readings from Sunday. If you're not watching Church of Spirituality, you're missing an amazing opportunity to improve your life. And it's free. And there's music too. And great affirmations that are put in song form. Speaking of affirmations, when you become a member at any of the 3 levels, you get an affirmation in your inbox every single morning. It's an awesome way to start the day. And over the course of a lot of time, they really sink in. And also, you're invited to a psychic party once a month at the upper 2 levels, which is the World and the High Priestess. And that's all I can think of for right now. I want everyone to join Grassroots of Democracy. Sorry, Thomas, I missed the joke. I see a dancing person with a flower. I might just leave you with that. There's a dancing person with a flower. And this is Saturn. And I just wrecked it. But there's a dancing person with a flower. And that looks like a cat. Or a little tiger. A fairy. It's kind of falling apart. A little tiger, a fairy. There's somebody. This looks like somebody offering a flower to somebody. And there's a cat. You see a rabbit? Okay, so we'll look up. And there's a heart. We'll look up cat. Flower or person. Hang on. Flower. So if somebody's offering a flower, let me let you know what this says. If somebody's offering a flower, it's a very feminine symbol. It's a lily is especially fortunate in a woman's cup. Now, I want to say about the Katie Brit thing that it's actually going to bring out more of a defense of women. Who sent the Smurf? Oh, gosh. If you're in the chat and you sent the Smurf, let me know. Because I get things in the mail and sometimes I just lose. You know. You see a bird? That was a tribute to Jared Moskowitz. Bird. Let's see. Bird. Bird's a communication. Communication. Well, there's different kinds of birds. A single bird means news and messages. Okay, so we should be hearing news and messages about females. I think that conversation about Katie Britt is going to continue. It opened up kind of a can of worms for her. And it made us see where they're really coming from. So, and a cat. Let's look up the cat. 27. The meaning of a cat in the cup is a good luck symbol. Yeah. Good luck, good things. When next to a person or letter of the alphabet denotes secrecy, independence, and hidden matters. It also indicates an unpredictable person. So we know who that is. But as far as I'm concerned, he's pretty predictable. Okay, in the interest of time, thank you so much. Once again, it's psychicannetteDion.com. Book a reading. I do tea leaf readings also. Spiritual life coaching sessions. I'm dependent on your donations and you're giving me business for my income, so I appreciate all of you that have helped me so much. We will see you soon. All right. It's always good to see you all. Namaste. Be great. Be awesome. And send some love to Amaga. I know you're going to cringe. It's okay.